Welcome YouTube viewers, I am Daniel with another video, and I'm doing a review on the Can-Am 2019 X3 Turbo R XRS, which pretty much stands for Extreme Racing. And this is a 2019, so I've owned this for just over 3 years, going on 4th year, and coming up in May. So May would be my 4th year of owning the Can-Am, and pretty much it's stock. It's not really not extreme like most X3s you would see. Only thing I've added was the Pro Box top, which comes with a light bar. You can order the roof rack and the lights. This is something new that Pro Box has put in. And as you can see, there are 8 speakers in the ride. You can get subwoofers on the ground, but in my defense, there's going to be a whole lot of trash at the bottom and mud, and I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I've upgraded the battery. I don't know if you can see the battery. Yeah, I upgraded the battery because the stock one didn't last too long, but 2 years. The tires are stock. The fenders, I've added extra. Speakers in the back. Light bar in the back. We also have a backup camera that I installed, and the suspension, A-arms, or was it radius, air radius, or these are stock. What isn't stock is the Super ATV hitch. Instead of using the original plate that came with the X3, which tends to be really weak, I went ahead and slapped on the Super ATV hitch, which is a much stronger plate, which comes with a hitch, so you can hook up your jet ski, little small trailer, or if you got anything else that hooks up to a hitch, like a little platform or maybe a barbecue pit or something. You can go ahead and install that. Anything that can be hooked up to a hitch. Hell, I think they even got hitches for, you can install like a hammock. But the tires are original. The fenders I've added. The extra wide fender, I've added that from Amazon. This is a must because without the fenders, you get pretty much dirty while you're riding. You can install the windshield, which I haven't installed one yet. I don't know if there's room to install after this light bar, but I've kept it pretty much stock. The winch did not come with it. First thing I did when I bought it, I got the winch, and I'm gonna show you this other light that I have also installed. The light in the middle, that one I installed, and that come factory. So the winch, the bumper, that was my first thing that it needed to be installed. But you can also install extra lights in front, and you can also buy a tower bar that can hold up another set of lights. But for me, this light bar is good enough. And I like the rack because usually you never know what you might need extra. Toe straps. You want to throw your lunchbox, cool box. I can't even talk right now. This one I installed extra to hold up my cell phone, and you can also store some goodies, which you can also use the glove compartment. And in the glove compartment, Can-Am already sends you some extra parts to help change out the belt, which there's a belt right there. Gotta have one on standby just in case, or maybe one of your friends might bust one. Also comes with 2 keys, the white and the green. The green is for beginners. The white is for full power. You can also, with the winch, you can also hook up the remote. So if you have your passenger with you, or if you happen to be outside, which there's a remote. In, out, in, out. You can use the remote if you're in a tight situation by yourself where you need to be standing by. How far does it go, you might ask? Okay, you're gonna make me take all this stuff out. So you're gonna go ahead and plug it in. There it is, plugged in. Untangle it. So it gives you a pretty far distance, so you can in or out. But now it's off. But it gives you, a little bit of help if you're by yourself and you're trying to winch someone in, or you're trying to winch yourself out. So that comes in handy instead of hopping in the vehicle and winching yourself out. The seats are stock. These are how they came from the factory. I didn't really upgrade anything. I like to call them like the racing belts that you're locking in. Lock. It's not just one belt going across your chest like you would in a normal car. You also have your passenger for he needs to grab on to something, which you also grab on here, which you got a handlebar also on your side to grab on to. And the wrap, I added the wrap. That one cost me $1,000. The owner wasn't too happy about it because they spent more time finding the pieces than they did trying to put it on. So he was like, yeah, I'm never gonna put that on. I mean, he was happy that it was already pre-cut, but just trying to find the pieces. And the backup camera is right there. You got your little screen. Here, let me turn it on for you real quick. The shocks are stock. Nothing special. But here's your camera. That way you can see where you're backing up to, because you can see we really don't have no clearance in the back. Even with the speakers out of the way, we still can't see what's in the back. So the camera does really help in tight situations. You also have your switches up here for your light bar, front, rear. I'm gonna turn on the front and the rear for you. There's a rear. I don't know if it's bright enough yet, but I know for the front, that's super bright, because when you're riding mud, your headlights get covered with mud, and then you become blind. I mean, you become, pretty much blind, because you can't see nothing in the dark with mud being covered. And then you got your other switches up here. This one turns on the lights for the speakers. And then this one turns on for the extra lights on the side, which gives out like a little colors. Some people tend to freak out. They don't know what the hell they're seeing. They don't know if there's butterflies or what the hell is it. But I think that was pretty cool that they installed that. But I've kept it pretty much stock. I think we're only about 500 miles on it, and in 4 years. So that tells you that we ain't driven a whole lot. But has anything major broken in it? The only thing I can tell you is you're gonna have to replace the brakes very often. I don't know if you can see them. They're somewhere in there. Yeah. You're gonna have to replace the brake pads ever so often if you're gonna be out here in the mud. Mud and water do not mix very well for the brake pads. Your best option if you're gonna stick to OEM is stick to OEM. If you try to go with aftermarket brake pads, they're gonna wear out. So if you try to buy the ones on Amazon, they're gonna go out right away within maybe within an hour or two. They're gonna rub off, and then you're gonna be running on metal plates, and then your foot's gonna go all the way to the bottom. But don't worry, because pretty much it comes to a stop on its own, like an engine brake. I don't know if you can see the little lights on the side. Yeah. We got some on the other side too. Let me. Nope. Yeah, you just see like a bunch of little lights. That's what it looks like a little party disco. Disco. No. For 2019, that I bought it brand new from 2019 in May. This one came out at $30,000. Like I said, nothing fancy about the brakes. You can always upgrade your brake pads if you want them larger. You make the brake pads larger. I think you can still keep the same stock wheel and tire, but more people tend to upgrade the tires and the wheels, make them bigger, put a bigger suspension. But for me, I'm letting you know, as an owner, that you don't have to spend all this money to have fun on your side-by-side. You can keep it pretty much stock, and you'll have lots of fun. The shocks, apparently this deal right here tends to move a little bit over time, so then your vehicle gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, and all you have to do is just raise it up a little bit, get a ruler, and make sure that both sides are even to raise your ride up an inch, 2 inches, maybe 3 inches higher. And you have to do that all the way around. It's pretty fun. It's fun doing donuts. It's fun racing across the dirt, some back roads. And you gotta think, spending over $30,000 on a unit like this, I mean, is it really worth it to you? If you're doing it very often, hitting these trails, yes, it's worth it. But if it's just staying at home, it can't really do much. I mean, it's not really street legal. You can't make it legal by going dirtlegal.com. And I think it's like $1,500 to get it started, and make sure you get a windshield, make sure you get turn signals, which we do have turn signals. Let me try to see if I can get those turn signals on for you. Ooh. So these are your hazard lights. So there's a switch for hazard. There's a switch for turning. So as you see, the LED light for daytime running stays on when the turn signal is not on. And then when you do turn it on, the amber light comes on. and that works for the front and back. That's pretty neat. You can have turn signals, and that's one way to get started to make your ride street legal. And you're supposed to have a horn. That's city horn. This is your winch. There's your winch for in and out. These are your high beam, low beam, and off. And then you got your sport mode, eco mode. Override is when you go in reverse. DPS, I think that's for disable power steering. I think it makes the steering more harder to turn. Then you got your active trail. So, and we're out here at the Extreme Park on our own in the middle of the week. So if anything happens, we're walking. And as an owner of an X3, I really like it. And I'm gonna tell you this: if you're gonna buy it because you're thinking that you're gonna have fun with your family, the wife, the kids are gonna be riding with you, I'm gonna tell you this much: the only person that's gonna be enjoying the ride is the person driving the X3. Everybody else, it's exciting day one, and then after that, it's just like everybody goes to sleep. Everybody's like just dying on you, like, because they're not enjoying it. They're not the one powering this massive beast. And for 2019 Turbo R, this one's only kicking in about, I think, 172 horsepower. So for the 2023, you're looking at 200 horsepower Turbo RR. Now they do have just Turbo R. If you don't want to buy the RR, 2 R's. If you only want to buy 1 R, it's a little bit cheaper. And if I'm correct, I'm not too sure, I think they just have one where it's just X3, no turbo. And that one would be about $5,000 cheaper. But to spend over $30,000, you have to ask, is it worth it? Or do I go out and buy me a Jeep that's street legal and can be on public streets and off-road? That's something you need to think about. Like maybe you want to buy the Jeep Gladiator. All the windows come off, the doors come off. I mean, you can drive it just like an X3. So yeah, we got some cars abandoned out here over at Extreme Park. They've been there for a long time. Yeah, but we're just chilling. I'm just chilling out here, and I wanted to give my review of the X3 after almost 4 years, which I guess we can say 4 years. We're not too far from May. This is March 2023, so yeah, 4 years. And you don't have to upgrade. You don't have to change the wheels, the tires. You don't have to change none of that. You don't have to put a dyno, extra horsepower. You don't have to do none of that. It's just perfect just the way it is. Now you do have the option of upgrading more power. That's on you if you have the money for it. Me personally, I'm just fine just the way it is. So if you're in the market and you want to get an X3, go for it. If you already have an X3, I don't recommend upgrading to the new model that's already out. Maybe in 2024 they'll change it a little bit. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna hold my breath. But for me, the upgrade to the new model, something has to change massive with the X3. I don't know what I can see that they can change, but pretty much you're keeping the same face, just adding a little extra technology, like self-adjusting shocks if you want to change it to soft, hard. medium, smart shocks. I mean, Polaris has like a little deal where they got a screen, and the screen is like, you know what? You see what I just did right here? Just get your tablet. Just get your tablet for a couple of $100 and just put it on there, and you can download all the apps you need for off-roading, listen to your music, Bluetooth. You know, you don't really have to go get the Polaris just because they got their famous, well, I don't know if it's famous, but just because they got their fancy screen built into it. And of course, they probably got a radio built into it too. But yeah, we got 455 miles. We got the old school. We don't have digital, which I'm fine with that. So, oh yeah, and these mirrors, those mirrors are extra. That came from Can-Am. You can fold them up. I just bought them because they look good. I just wanted to make them look good. Every now and then I might use them to see what's going on behind me, but that's about it. So, yeah, do you buy an X3 for $30,000 starting, or do you go buy you a Jeep? Sometimes you don't even have to buy a Jeep to come out to Extreme Park. You can just buy a clunker, a beat up truck for, you know, $2,000, $5,000, and go have some fun with it. And it'll still be just as fun as riding the X3. Maybe. I don't know. Thoughts, comments below. I still feel like, hey, you know, wheels are wheels, you know. I mean, it's fun driving it. It's smooth. It rides smooth. You don't feel all the bumps. It's like driving on, you know, it's like driving a luxury car. And I think that's what X3 is for. Can-Am X3 is a luxury version of a luxury car. And all the other ones are like, you're going to feel everything. And I never rolled it over, and I never really like sent it like 3 feet of water like we see right here. Let me see what else I can add to the video. Alright, so we're driving out here in the middle of the night. You see all the little lights on the side that I was showing you? Like Christmas. And then we got this LED light bar. It's super bright. It brightens everything up. But let's see what happens when we turn it off. Now look how low it is. We can't see too far. And that's high beam. So what happens if we go low beam? Not much difference. Off. Daylight running lights. That's about it. Right now we got all this lights going on. So let's make it dark. So now it's dark inside the cab. And that's as far as the LED lights will go. We got some people out here like to ride. But yeah, just letting you know what the lights look like. The LED bar does really shine a whole lot. And if you want to know what the back looks like, I mean, look at that. It's like Christmas in July. And let's see. That's the back. Without it. On it. Without it. So yeah, it's always much better with the LED light bar, so it comes in handy. Alright, I'm gonna get back on the trail and see where to go. Woo. Yeah, you can see it way brighter. I got some 51 whip lights, but I don't really have them on me. I'll have to show them later on. Alright, let me bring you on a little tour of Extreme. They fixed this up a little bit, and this is what they call the bridge. And it's been, right now it's really dry here at Extreme Park, so everything's like easy access. Last time it was extremely muddy, and that's what Extreme's all about, being muddy. Some people don't like it when it's completely dry because it's less challenging, but I'm all like, look how bad this is. Driving in the back, middle of the woods. Like, whoa. Like, all this was all muddy a couple of months ago, I think it was. So we had to be real careful. And now that it's like dry, we can kind of go really fast. And since we're out here by ourselves and no one really out here in the middle of the week, it makes it a lot easier to travel. Then again, it's dangerous at the same time, because if you get stranded, you got a long way to walk. So I think we're coming up on our bridge. Nope, not bridge yet. Whoa. Yeah, when it gets flooded, it gets extreme. Right now we're on two-wheel drive. So you could drive your little off-road vehicle if you have one. A Jeep, you know, a little Ford Ranger, Tacoma. You can bring it out here, your own personal vehicle. Hopefully I can hear me over this loud turbo. Hey, hey. And if you're wondering what I'm using the Ultra 23. It just came out in February. Oh, and here's the bridge. It says no trucks. Yeah, last time I come through here, it was real muddy. It's like, look at that, bright, and it's like, oh shoot, now we're alone. We're not alone. Now we're alone. We're alone. We're alone. Now we're not. Yes, no, yes, no. I'm gonna take a quick photo, pictures out here with this light pole. So I want to give you a quick tip. Whenever you're mudding, you want to keep an eye on your coolant. Make sure it doesn't overheat. And of course your fuel gauge, but mostly your coolant. Because in the front of the coolant that's up there, in the front, behind the front bumper guard, there's a radiator up front, which whenever you're out here at a mud, whenever you're out here mudding, it tends to get covered with mud, depending on how bad you dip yourself into mud. If you look at the XR, was it XMR Extreme Mud Ready XMR? Yeah, the XMR 1000. You can see that the radiator is located above the machine, whereas on the Can-Am it's not really above the engine. Well, the engine's in the back, but the coolant the radiator is right here, and if it gets covered with mud, and if you look more down there, you ain't gonna be able to get all the mud off. But majority, if all this is covered with mud, all in the front grill, all this grill is covered, the temperature is going to rise, and it's going to cause your Can-Am to overheat. So you got to be careful whenever you send it. If the whole front gets covered in mud, the radiator is going to get covered and it's going to overheat. And if you're wondering where you add coolant, to add coolant, it's going to be back here in the back under this cover. Alright, there we go. So here's your coolant, and you want to make sure that it's got enough coolant before. So we're about just under the max. And don't just put any coolant. You got to make sure you put the Can-Am X3 coolant. Don't be going down the AutoZone or going to your Walmart. Your sort of screen filter is here. You can take that off to clean it off. Your air filter is going to be located in that little round box. You need to clean that out, or at least inspect it. But yeah, this is where you add coolant. Only had to add coolant one time. I don't know why I needed to, or why it was required for me to add coolant, but I went ahead and did it. And yeah, let's test out that backlight so you can see it better, because earlier we were just so whoo, that's shiny. And you can see it's pretty bright whenever you're backing up. And let's check out our backup camera. If you wanted to back up, you see how bright it is. That's without the back, and that's with the back. And oh, I didn't even know about this feature. Huh, we got a dome light. Wow, cool. So this Pro Box comes with a dome light. I didn't even know that. I just barely touched it. Now it's on, now it's off, on. That's pretty cool. Because usually what I did is I bought my own little dome light. Little small one. If it works. Yeah. This way if I need to look at something, read something. But yeah, I bought this little small LED light, strapped it to it. So if I need to turn it on to look for something in my pockets or read information, it's there. But now that we have the dome light, we can see everything. Is it just the... Oh, we even got one in the back too. Cool. So the front and the people in the back can see what they need to see. And you can see we have our air compressor, and then we have our jump starter with an air compressor and our straps in case we get stuck or somebody gets stuck. But I think that's pretty cool. That, and there's our huge battery. I upgraded. I don't know if you can see it. Give you an idea what it is. The full throttle battery. And of course there's our belt. We bought it 4 years ago and we still haven't used it. So obviously either I'm doing something right, because most people tend to break them within the first hour of owning one. So, and then of course I got my Texas off-road vehicle tag, and you know, no one's ever asked me for it, no one's ever stopped me for it. I guess that's if you're going to be somewhere in an open public area where it's not really like, say, a private park. Like off-road extreme park is a private park, so you don't really need the sticker. But I guess if you go somewhere like an off-road land, like I can think of one up in Amarillo where they got like a river running through there, and there's a wide area where ATVs go, and in that area you'll need the off-road vehicle sticker. Or if you're gonna go to, I think it's what, Sam's Trails, Sam Houston Trail, you gotta have a sticker, but no one's ever stopped me for it. So yeah, I'm trying to come up with as much as I can to show you, about the X3 if you're in the market for one. So I like to think of the X3 as a fun toy, as a fun toy to, like, say, you're gonna get into some bad situations where you're gonna bust your A-arm, you're gonna bend the rim, bend the tire, you're gonna roll it over, you're gonna sink it in the pond. It's like, hey, it's an off-road vehicle toy, and this is not your daily driver vehicle, which some people do drive their daily vehicle out here to Extreme Park, and they push it to the limits. So let's continue on to the journey through the night. Hopefully I can see everything. As y'all can see, I'm sure it's driving the fishes wild and crazy, wondering what the hell is all those little lights, because I just heard some fish come up in the water. So hey, having these LED lights can help you on your fishing trip. So how about that? Alright, so this concludes the Extreme Off-Road Park After Hours. Apparently you can ride out here all night long, and they're okay with it. And we didn't get too dirty today. This is what the extended mud flaps do to protect the vehicle from getting extremely mud on you. Not too bad on the wheels. Not too bad out here. There were some areas where the mud was really rough. Usually all this would be covered in mud, but since the dirt was so dry, we didn't really get that extremely mud. We just make the washing down a lot easy. And then of course down here you got your undercarriage full of mud, which I have a hard time getting to. That's all we got. Not too much, not too bad. So cleaning won't be so bad on this Can-Am X3. So please hit the like, subscribe button. Camping is allowed out here if you want to camp out here at Extreme Park. They got some new cabins coming out, better ones than the ones that look like storage containers. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, tell me, do you own one? Are you thinking about buying one? I don't know what else I can tell you, but they are fun. Expensive, but fun. So have a good one. If you do buy one, enjoy it, have fun, and don't mess it up, because they do cost money to fix if you're not a do-it-yourself mechanic. Like, you can break axles, front axles for the front wheel drive, rear wheel drive. You can bust the belts. You can do some damage inside the belt box. So it just depends how you drive it. If you drive it too crazy, you will be paying for some parts. So, and check your oil. Oh yeah, most important thing is, when you buy an X3, please check the oil before you leave the dealership. It's really important to check the oil. I know it's brand new, but check the oil, because we had someone who bought an X3 and he complained from the beginning before he drove it off the lot that it was making some kind of weird noise, and they told him that it was okay. And then when he tried to take it to the extreme park, turns out that he ran it for another hour, and we found out that he had no oil in the engine and pretty much messed up the whole engine. And the warranty will only cover the parts to replace on the Can-Am and not labor. So he's out of pocket for paying for labor, I think that's what it was, labor. But all they were going to do is cover him for parts. So yeah, always check the oil. The dipstick is right there. You can't really see it unless you really look at it. And that's also where you're going to feel it up when you change it. And the oil filter is right there. And to change the oil, it's going to be underneath. There'll be a hole where you can access 2 bolts to drain the oil. And all these little, here's where you can grease it up, pinpoints. Grease there. And can I see any other place to grease around here? I don't know where else to grease, but it should be somewhere else. Now that's one. And then on the front, you got like certain other areas where you can grease it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's like 4 or 6 spots up front where you can grease it up, the drive shaft and stuff. Really important that you grease it up after every use. It helps get the water out if you've been driving it through water. And there's your fan. Make sure the fan is working. If the fan doesn't turn on, you never hear it come on, try moving the blade. Sometimes the blade gets stuck over time. Not that it's going to get frozen, but you know, sometimes, you know, with all this mud flying around and sending it, you know, it gets stuck in there. It makes the fan, you know, get stuck. So yeah, check the fan, make sure it's freely moving. And if it's not at all, then you know you got a fan problem. And if the fan don't come on, that means your radiator's not gonna cool and you're gonna overheat. So my name is Daniel. I hope the review on this X3 give you a better picture or a better view of what your new 2023 will look like. Well, not look like, but you know what your 23, what you'll experience in your 2023, which will be a lot way better, you know, with more horsepower. If you get the one with the 200 horsepower and the smart shock, or if you're looking to buy a 2019, to me, I'm just like, you know what, I really don't care much about the horsepower. When you're riding out here on these trails, you know, you really don't need a whole lot of speed. The only time you need speed is if you're going to be maybe racing somebody on a quarter mile, or if you're going to be racing on the sand dunes. But if you're just taking it easy and not in the competition mode, you know, then just a nice regular X3 would do the job. Out here at Extreme Park, I only give it about, you know, 25 to 30 miles an hour. That's about it. If you've never been to Extreme Park, back there, you don't want to have a whole lot of water pressure. And then right there is where you can give it a quick rinse if you want to knock off, you know, a few pounds of mud before you take it home with you. Like right now we're good. But again, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Got any questions about it? Just hit me up. I'll try my best to answer it. And I am not sponsored by Can-Am. I am not sponsored by Extreme Park. I am not sponsored by anybody. No one hasn't paid me a single dime for these YouTube videos. I'm just out here trying to share the message, and maybe one day we'll get a sponsor. Till then, I'm Daniel. Hit the like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. And after a long trail riding, all the dust, if you must find a place to shower, which they do have showers at the park, but if you want a nice high pressure wash with hot water, look for your nearby, Love's, Truck Stop, Flying J, TA, Pilot. You can get you a nice shower to get all the dust off of you. The shower is $16, so for you and your spouse, if you don't want to ride back to the house, if you're like 2, 3, 4 hours away, you can stop at nearby and take a quick shower together and get yourself cleaned up. Because I know at the Extreme Park, they don't really have a good pressure washer. I mean, they don't have high pressure to wash yourself, so yeah, not bad. And the towels, if you don't have soap, they got these soap dispensers, which is pretty much just regular soap, not really, not regular shampoo or body wash. And floor mat, well, it's more put your feet on, but do make sure you bring some sandals to wash yourself up. So just a little tip if you get too dirty, which you probably will. So